Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chill Like a Mother podcast. I am Kayla, who's our host and creator of the Chill Like a Mother podcast and services for mothers. I am here with Megan, my amazing friend, who I met via marketing. And for those of you who don't have any interest in knowing about running a business, that's not what we're going to be talking today, but we need to outsource things. And I often talk about as moms how we need to outsource things. And so Megan is one of my people in my circle for that. And we are going to be talking today about the chill and not chill parts of parenting, specifically when we are not okay, how we be not okay, but also not put that on our children or be okay with the not okayness in front of them in some way, shape, or form. So here we go.
Super chill, just like the title of the podcast, super chill, really easy.
Yep. I was actually thinking we should rename the podcast Chill-ish or like Wannabe Chill. Like, because people will DM me and they'll be like, so I'm not chill. Is like the podcast for me. I was like, no, that's not the intention at all, ever.
Yeah, I have zero chill. Frequently that is my dinner party introduction of like, hi, my name is Megan. This is what I do for work. This is what I like in my free time. I have no chill. If I like something, if I like you, I have no chill. I have no chill. And I am learning to be okay with that.
Yes. Yes.
And my child has no chill. Oh my goodness, that kid has. It's so funny because he's such a chill kid in the sense that like he has big feelings. We're doing our best to work through and process. And then after that, like it doesn't linger for him. Even when he was a tiny, tiny little guy, he had a tongue tie. So in his first 7 days of life, we had to get that reversed because it was all the way to the tip. So the good news is for us as parents, that wasn't a question of like, should we not? Do we do physical therapy? Nope. It's to the tip of his tongue. He has no mobility. It has to happen. Anyhow, you have to do 6 weeks of 6 times a day exercises where you stick your hands in this tiny little mouth and you have to massage the open wound to make sure it doesn't grow back closed. And I mean, very obviously, he was very unhappy with it. But as soon as you took your hands out of his mouth, he was fine. I wouldn't be fine. My parents marveled. They were like, as soon as the need is addressed, he's good to go, with the exception of sleeping. Can I swear on this podcast?
Yes, please.
Okay, that fucker still doesn't sleep. I love him so much. He's a toddler now. He's trying to drop a nap. He is not ready to drop a nap. Anyhow.
Yes. I have one who still doesn't sleep great and for diagnosable reasons.
Yeah.
Which many of our avid listeners already know. He has woken up between 6 and 6:30 pretty much every day his entire life. And he's 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's now getting to the age where he can be self-sufficient in the mornings. But because of these said diagnosable reasons, it's often not good for him to be alone that long with access to food and sweets and things in the early mornings when our impulse control is not great. But I have my younger he's like, he could sleep in like every day of his life. We often have to like rouse him out of bed. And he was like that as a baby too, just like if he was comfortable and warm, he was sleeping. There was nothing that could disturb him. But the two opposite ends of the spectrum is I've got one who recovers very quickly, right? Like it's like I could even be like almost my meanest self, and which I have been, admittedly I have been.
Yeah.
We all have mean selves, and like 10 minutes later, he's like, "No, it's okay, it's fine," and I'm like, "No, but I'm not. I'm not fine with how I just behaved. How are you fine with how I just behaved?" The being not okay. Do you have a particular story, a memory, an anecdote that you would like to share? How do we be not okay, but like be okay with not being okay?
I immediately think to every flight I have taken with my little one. I live in Oregon. My family lives in Minnesota in the States. So if you don't know geography of the States, that's absolutely fine. That's West Coast to middle of the country. And the United States is huge. So that's a 3.5 to 4 hour flight. It's not a short little puddle jump. And we have been visiting my folks since he was born, since he was 4 months old, every few months, at least once every 6 months. And flying with an infant, with a toddler is a lot. And I I draw a lot on, I was a paraprofessional for many years for kids with intellectual or physical disabilities within a classroom setting. I was the assistant to the teacher. And one of the things that I carry to this day is the question, is this a big problem or a little problem? Not because everything's a little problem, but because taking a second to evaluate, is this a big problem or a little problem, can be enough to get a deep breath, to recoup, to take a beat and evaluate what actually are my options. Because of course I'm reacting in all the ways, but what is actually? And when you're on an airplane, you do not have a lot of options. And I want to share two flights, our best ever flight and our worst ever flight. I'll start with the worst. The worst was delayed. The worst was me flying home for a family funeral. And it wasn't a tragic death. It was a grandparent. They were very old. They had survived a lot of things, but it's still sad and hard. And for the purposes of this story, last minute. Because generally you don't plan for a funeral a year ahead of time. So it was a last minute flight. So we flew out at 6 a.m. and we flew back home at bedtime over the course of a weekend. So it's already a really short turnaround time. And we're getting to see grandparents and cousin, but now we have to leave and it's so quick and it's at bedtime. And we were supposed to take off at bedtime. So we were going to board a little bit ahead of time, except it was delayed. And so we boarded at bedtime. And that kid, I already mentioned, doesn't sleep. And he was a lap kid. He didn't have his own seat. And he fought me and screamed and cried and thrashed the entire 3.5 hours. And he was so tired. He'd fall asleep for 5 minutes mid scream, just collapse in my arms and then wake up screaming and crying again. And all I could do was hold him and talk to him. And he kept signaling all done. And I kept saying, you know what, bud, I'm all done too, but we can't get out right now. We have to stay here. We cannot. I'm really sorry. And I don't even know if I knew her name. Bless my seatmate, who, I did my best to make sure she didn't get whacked, but she got a good few, not kicks, but arm flails where it's not hitting on with any intention. It's just flailing. And I apologized and apologized. And at the end of the flight, I said, thank you so much for your understanding. I am so sorry. I know this was not the flight that you wanted. And I really appreciate your patience and understanding. I am so sorry. I hope all good things happen to you the rest of the week. And bless her, she was like, I have a nephew. Don't worry about it. I totally get it. You have the hard job here. And I was like, well, thank you. Yes, but thank you. And in that case, the how do I be okay not being okay really came down to just, I'm here with you, bud. I understand. This is so hard. I'm sad too. I just went to a funeral. I got to see my family for a hot second and now we're leaving again. There is nothing we can do in the sense that there's no big change we can make right now. And there's something weirdly freeing about accepting there's nothing I can do. There are little things I can do, certainly. But the thing that will fix it is getting off the plane. That's not an option when we're somewhere over Montana. I'm really sorry, bud. I can hum to you. I can rock you. I can hug you. We can look at a book. We can look at pictures of grandparents. We can play with, they sent him home with an outdated remote because let me tell you, outdated technology is the best toy you can ever give a child. But that's it. There is no, okay, well, I could have done this. Well, I could have done this. No, I feel pretty confident. There's nothing else aside from being a different person or having so much money that I can be in first class. There's nothing I can do. Now the best flight. And let me tell you, I'm going to carry this with me for the rest of my life. We got on our flight. He's having an okay time. There's a screaming, very unhappy baby in front of us, 5 rows, and a screaming, unhappy baby about 6 rows behind us. And my little guy is a sympathy crier, real empathetic. And even since he was tiny, if he's hearing crying, those brows get so furrowed and his head goes up and he's looking around trying to figure out something's wrong. Well, And so we spent a good portion of the flight talking about that baby is okay. They are with their grown up. And I do make a concerted effort to say grown up because I don't know if they're their parent. They are with their grown up. That baby is okay. Look, it looks like they're getting a snack. Do you think maybe they might be hungry? Would you like a snack? Are you getting hungry? And just talking through all of the things, because what else are you going to do? And there's no amount of like, well, they're fine. Pay attention to this. Cause he's like, they are crying. Do you not see? Do you not hear?
A human with empathy? Come on. There's a crying human.
Have you not ears? And at the end of the flight, a woman in front of me stood up and turned around and she goes, I'm sorry to ask, do you have a background in early childhood education? Are you a teacher? And I said, no, I was a para for a number of years. I worked in schools, but I know. And she goes, I need to tell you, I'm a pediatrician. I've been a pediatrician for 30 years. I need to tell you, you're doing an amazing job. The way you were talking to your kiddo, the way you were talking him through what was happening and giving him options, the way you were talking to him was perfect. It was textbook. It was, you are doing such a good job. You need to know that. And I almost started crying. And what kept me from crying is the guy on the end goes, yeah, I saw you in my row and I thought, oh man, but that was a good flight. It's like, thank you, businessman in the aisle seat. But that to me at least solidified, if nothing else, just talking through what are we seeing, what are we hearing, what might we be feeling can be enough.
In both of those stories, Megan, what really hit me was this radical acceptance around this is what I can do. This is like the container that I can do it in. These are my choices. These are my avenues. These are my things. And the metaphor that was going through my mind as you were sharing the first story around like the only option is to get off the plane. Like that's the only thing that's going to make it better is copy and paste that scenario on an airplane, in your home or at the park or at a friend's house or at a restaurant. And there can be so much pressure to perform in these other scenarios when there are other options, when there are other ways of dealing with it, right? At a restaurant, there's people around you, 50-50 is like half of them are going to be saying, get the fuck out of here because your kid is screaming and why are you out for dinner? And the other half is going to be like, give that kid a tablet, give that kid a device, give that kid a crayon so that they shut up, right? Like there's often this like split. And then there's the parents who are actually in the restaurant and they're like, man, you deserve to be out and we can all tolerate this. We're all adults. Get it together. Right.
Yeah.
Like
we feel you. Solidarity.
We feel you. Right. I have been walked through many of these scenarios with my counseling clients where we do this rehearsal of like how much more I could have done as the parent, or if they would have just, or if mother-in-law wouldn't have said that thing, then I wouldn't have to be put into this position to be dealing with it. And how do I deal with it? And then it just gets into like, there are too many options, right? Where when you're in the airplane and your only option is communication and presence and attunement, that's all that you can do. And then so that inherently becomes enough for the scenario. And you're forced, what I find in both of those scenarios is you as a parent are also kind of forced to stay in it.
Yeah. That is, it's one of the hardest, but perhaps more important things that I don't necessarily want to say learned, and that's probably my own knee-jerk reaction because it really annoys when people are like, oh, my kids have taught me so much. Yeah. Okay. Sure. But it has forced me to stay present and to process rather than dissociate or numb. And for better or for worse, it's usually because I don't want this kid to default to dissociating and to numbing. And those are both can be necessary parts of processing. It's not that I want to set up a binary, but again, it's that evaluation of is this a big problem or a little problem? When it's a little problem, it's uncomfortable. No one is happy about this. Both of us are not liking this. And also, we need to go through it together.
Yes.
So the other morning, we were having a real hard morning, weekend morning. Dad is sleeping in. I'm on kiddo duty. And let me tell you, this kiddo has my husband's hairpin trigger for hangry. There's a window like a centimeter of when he gets up to getting food in him. Otherwise, we tip over into hangry, and he's a toddler. The emotions are too big. You cannot reel it back in for anything. And I missed that window. And between changing diaper, putting clothes on, we missed that window and it all fell apart. And so one of the things that when it's all fallen apart, let's go outside. We have a porch swing on our front porch. Let's go outside and go on the swing. And so we're on the swing, and I'm talking about, I see a tree with leaves. Do you see a tree with leaves? Yeah, Mama. I see a blue car. Do you see a blue car? Yeah, Mama. It's Mama's car. It's my blue car. Yeah. A few minutes later, but I'm getting kind of hungry. I think I'm going to go in and get some food. Would you like to join me? Yeah, Mama, I'm hungry too. I want toast peas. And suddenly it's his idea that we're going to eat.
Yes.
And it's the act of, okay, I need to remove myself. I need to take a beat to breathe, to smell, to notice, and then come back. It's like when you work out after a long time and you're like, God damn it, I feel better. It's the worst that it works. Man, it's so simple. But just taking that beat to process, to come back into your body, to realize like it works. Damn it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. And what's going through my mind right now, repeating this story, could be construed with what the online world calls gentle parenting. Now,
sure.
Most of you know that I've written an article from the McLean's magazine talking about my misadventures with gentle parenting and how we can label these things and not really understand what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first thought, hearing you walk your son through this, is like, no, that sounds almost exactly like I would sound talking to my own children. And there can be this version of parenting where we have to do it one way, right? And I just want to name, for transparency's sake, that what Megan's talking about is not a prescriptive, this is what you do when you're
no.
And tomorrow. I just want to name that because it can be misconstrued as Megan and Kayla said this thing. And now if I don't respond in that way, I'm now going to compare myself to that version of it. Or, oh, well, I didn't say all those things last time I flew with my kids, or I didn't say those things last time that my kid was hangry. And I just want to name for those whose brains might default to that place. If you need that, take that. If you need that, oh, that's a really cool way to respond to something, take that with you. But I also just want to name for those of you who are just here for the listening enjoyment, or just want to hear the end of the story, that this is now not the next 1, 2, 3 that you need to enact in your own parenting.
Absolutely the fuck not. And I mean, it is a tool in the toolbox. Does it work every time? No. Does it work sometimes? Yup. It's the weird way of parenting, perhaps, as all we'll put it, is that nothing is ever the same. Early on in Potato's life, Potato is the nickname that my husband and I have given my son because per my sister-in-law, who used to work in a midwifery clinic, she's an RN. All infants come in one of 3 flavors: potato, alien, or old man. Babies are beautiful. Also, they're really funny looking. Ours was a potato. Anyhow, potato will react, will be in this flavor. And sometimes potato will be in this flavor. And a friend told me really early on, the good news is this is only going to last about 2 weeks. You can do whatever this phase needs for 2 weeks. The bad news is it's only going to last for about 2 weeks. So if he's sleeping, so if he's eating, it's only going to last for about 2 weeks. So prep yourself. There are the resources. And I think that's really true of the tools we use in parenting and the approaches that we have, is that it can't be this is what I do every time. These are the options I have every time. What do I have the resources for? And what, to the best of my knowledge, does my kid need? For all of the talking through, there have been flights where he has been not having a good time and I do not have the resources to talk him through everything. And so it's not like I tune him out, but rather than the running monologue of the things, it's, I'm really sorry, buddy. We cannot get off the plane. I'm done too. I have a snack and a book, or your little audio box that has little magnetic characters on top and they tell stories and sing songs. Do you want to listen to your Tony? And that's the energy that I've got. That's all that I've got before I not just deplete myself, but dig into the reserves that I need to keep there in case this really goes off the rails.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
such a weird balancing act of figuring out how much of I can give to be, heavy air quotes, a good parent, a good mom. And when that becomes either me performing good mom, which I don't want to do, because that doesn't then feel like me. It feels like I'm being a character for my kiddo, and I don't want to be a character for my kiddo. I want to be a a person, and I want them to grow up knowing me both as mama and also as a person who has friends, who goes and does things with friends, who has a job, who works, who picks him up from school, from daycare. There are all of these facets that I think are really easy to not necessarily forget about, but almost edit out in pursuit of that, like, being a good parent. And good parent is a moving target.
That was
We've
just was going through my mind. I was like, the bar is constantly moving on that,
Yeah,
right?
you've already achieved it, and also you'll never achieve it.
Right?
I know I have no idea what I'm doing, and also I know exactly what I'm doing. And if that isn't parenthood summed up, I don't know what is.
My gosh. Yes. I just had like a full body reaction to what you just said. It was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I have no fucking idea.
Mm-hmm.
In the moments when that is at war with each other inside of you, how do you respond to that?
You know, I really take to heart something my folks used to tell my brother and I, which was and this was like when we were older in high school and college, and we know we are not perfect parents. We know we've not done it all right, but we hope we have done a good enough job that you feel safe getting the help you need, whether that's with us or with someone else. We want to help you. We want to be there for you. And if we can't be, that's okay. But we hope that you know you deserve to find help and support. And that's the thing that I tend to come back to. And granted, he's a toddler right now, so there's only so much you can do there. But that is the thing I come back to in the moment of, I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel lost. What in that version of he knows he is safe and he deserves to find help and support, what can I do to work toward that, to be in that direction? Because I'd love to say like, oh, and then I just embody it and I do it. No, I mean, yeah, that'd be great. No, I'm not that person. I wish I was. I'm not. But if I'm working toward it, if that's just the direction that I'm going, that feels manageable, at least for me. I can move in that direction. Some days I'm going to nail it and I'm really on course. Some days I am like, I'm 40 degrees off course, but I'm still moving in that direction. And that ultimately is what I hope to do, what I want to do, that's as chill as I'm ever going to get, of like, as long as you know you deserve to find the support that you need. I hope that that's with me. I hope that I have created an attachment, a relationship such that you feel safe. And also, I can't put my ego ahead of your need for support. So if it's not me, I have to set that aside and go, I hope despite doing my best, if I've done such damage that I cannot be that person, I hope you know you deserve to find support. I hope you know you deserve to find safety.
Mm-hmm. And what's beautiful about having older kids at this stage is that they'll tell me when I've taken it too far, when I am unhinged or feral or my so not chillest.
Yeah.
And I'm by myself, being the only parent in the home at that time. I lean on my village all the time, but the reality is I'm the one who's getting up with them in the morning and putting them to bed.
Yeah.
And so, those are the roughest moments for
Yeah.
me. And they'll say, like, you're being too loud, or you're expecting too much of me, or you're throwing too much at me. Like if I say, get in the shower, get your pajamas, get teeth brushed, and then come downstairs for a snack. Like my older will be like, Mom, you're throwing too much at me. And I need you to slow it down. I'll go have a shower, and then
Mhm.
and then we can like move on to the next thing, right? And I haven't always responded nicely in those moments, because sometimes my hackles get up and I'm like, you ungrateful.
Yeah.
I think I shouldn't have to tell you to get in the shower.
Yeah.
But there can be this security in being
Yeah.
able to say to someone, I need you to say it this way, or I need you to come meet me here in this way, or I'm going to need a minute with how you just came at me.
Granted, he's not quite 3, so we're not at that stage, but ever since he was tiny, told my husband when he's having parental preference, and it, for better or for worse, has never gotten to me. Whenever my husband's the preferential parent, I'm like, great, free time for me. But when my husband's been down, like, oh, he doesn't like me, or he doesn't feel safe with me anymore because he yelled at me or told me to go away or whatever, I've always said, and my husband's nickname is Husburrito. Husburrito, that is actually a sign that he feels safe with you. That's actually a sign that you're doing it really well. Because if he feels safe enough to yell at you and to say no and to stomp off or to say, no, I don't want you, that means he knows that he can say that and it won't change anything. And so, yes, so frustrating. I look forward to the day. I know it's coming because boy, does this little kid have some big opinions where he can say, Mom, that was not respectful. Because instead of saying like, you need to say it nicely, you don't necessarily need to say please and thank you. Like, we're not trying to ingrain that kind of knee-jerk reaction, but you have to be respectful. Not give me Cheerios. That hurts my feelings. That does not feel good. How can you say that respectfully? Can I have Cheerios, please? Yes, that feels so much better. I would love to get you Cheerios.
Yes.
And so I know there is going to be a day where he will look at me and go, Mom, that's not respectful.
Will.
And I'll have to say, you know what, buddy? It wasn't. I'm really sorry. That wasn't respectful. Let me try again.
Right? Let me try again. There is such amazing, security and safety and vulnerability in being able to receive that. So being a flavorful and spicy ADHD home, the new phrase that I am teaching my children is stay in your own lane, because they will often veer into each other's lanes, right? And it's like, you are supposed to be getting dressed and you are supposed to be brushing your teeth. Those two things don't happen in the same room. You need to stay in your own lane and let the other person be accountable to the task that they're supposed to be doing. Right. And so we've been saying that stay in your own lane, and I will physically redirect them if I need to. It's like, no, You are in this room and you are in this room. And so the other day, I kid you not, my 10-year-old says to me, Mom, stay in your own lane. I didn't ask for your help. And I was like, you did not. You did not ask me for help. You were verbalizing a frustration and I took it over. I'll go now.
That is what I dream of. That is what I dream of. It seems counterintuitive, but I hope that I've parented in such a way that my little guy can push back on me, can talk back, can okay, yes, we need to learn how to be respectful and we'll figure out how to manage emotions. And also, I don't know if you got this, eldest daughter here, I got a lot of the you are so easy, or complimented by grandparents and aunts and uncles of Megan, you're so easy. Thank goodness we don't have to fight. Thanks good. And that becomes internalized of well, the best, no ripples from me, no ruffling of feathers. And I hope my kid knows, please, ruffle all the feathers.
Right. Right. And when we think about saying it nice or saying it kind in intention with saying it respectfully, is that he didn't yell at me. He didn't raise his voice at me. He didn't use inappropriate language. He fully articulated that I had taken over something that he did not ask me to do. And it made him feel a certain kind of way. He said, Mom, stay in your lane. I did not ask you to fix that. You are 100% right. I did. I took it over. I rescued, right?
One of the, we're going to take this to business for a hot second, but I'm going to tie it back. When I'm a certified equity-centered coach through the Institute for Equity-Centered Coaching and Leadership. What that means is I've gone through a variety of coaching methodologies, but all through a lens of justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. What are the unseen variables of this equation that are going to affect how you are coaching, how you are relating, how to blah, 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 blah. And one of my guides, mentors, teachers through that program, we were talking about oppressed populations and talking about how to recognize the systems of oppression, da, 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 da. And she brought up, in my opinion, children are the most oppressed population in the world, and especially in the United States. And I think that that may have had the most significant impact on my parenting, because it is in choosing to have you, it is my duty, it is my job, it is my responsibility to guide you, to provide safety for you, to care for you. And I cannot shape you. I cannot mold you. There cannot be any end game or vision in my mind of what I want that you will fulfill. And it's a weird thing for your ego to have so much responsibility for something and absolutely no control over the outcome.
Russell Barkley has a presentation, and I watch it a lot because I need the reminder that we are not the engineers of children. We are their shepherd.
Yeah.
We are all born with, I think he said, like 400 different possibilities of wiring, of predisposition, of like any of those things. And yes, does parental influence, does the world influence, do teachers influence, do friends influence? Yes. And that can shape how we see ourselves and see others and all of those things. But the thing that I come back to with that when I need to check my ego is that, like, they're built how they're built, and they're going to move through the world how they move through the world in their own. They're going to have urges. They're going to have preferences. They're going to have all those things. I can shepherd, and I can expose them, and I can care for them, and I can show them what's safe, and I can give them that. But there's going to be things that they exit the birthing person's body with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to get too heavy, but to go there. I have intellectualized, I'm sure I've over intellectualized. My kiddo had to go to the NICU immediately after he was born. And we were at a birthing center. And to their credit, I was not scared at all during that process, because they did such a great job before he was born of going through scenario A, scenario B, scenario C, scenario D. Like, they prepped us so well. So I was never scared of like what's happening after 16 hours of labor, and like, I'm exhausted, I'm hungry. I knew what was happening the entire time. And also, I didn't get to hold him. I got to hold him for all of about 10 minutes because he never cried. He never got a full lung full of air, which is why he went to the NICU. And they were like, look, this is a conservative call. We know this is a conservative call. He might get to the NICU and immediately oxygen levels are going to pop up and he's fine. But we do not want to roll the dice. We make conservative calls. And again, they prepped us for it. So like, yep, absolutely. But I didn't get the birth that I wanted, or the birth that I had planned for, or the birth that I intended. And the first time I got to do like proper skin to skin, he was covered in wires. And in the back of my head, I'm like, attachment. He was ripped away like, oh, and it's a weird thing, at least for me, where I want to be cognizant of it. And also I don't want to feed into my fears that I haven't created a secure attachment. And so going back to that first story of the airplane, there is a lot of pumping your brakes. Is this a big problem or a little problem? What are my options right now? I cannot change the fact that you had to go to the NICU when you were born. I cannot change the fact that that may or may not have ruptured an attachment. It might not have. It might have. I don't know. And I can't let that dictate that. I can't let that knowledge dictate my parenting, because that becomes about my ego, not about what he needs.
Such a beautiful full circle moment of where we started and where we've come to, and the full circle of, is this a big problem or a little problem? And what can I do about it? What is my response going to be? What's in my lane? And how do you reconcile with that? And that is so personal, and there is no one right way or good way to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Megan, for having this conversation with me today. And so timely, because everyone has just survived. If they have survived holidays, if you are still managing, tending, or navigating any family dynamics or inappropriate comments. I am here for anybody who is in Canada. You can reach out to me and I can either be your person to debrief the holiday dynamics with, or I can definitely point you in the direction of somebody who is in your area, because therapy, your benefits kick in again if you're cyclical, if you're actual like annual cyclical like that, and you can reach out anytime. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next episode.